This is exactly right.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and moments that make the season unforgettable.
From sun-kissed metals to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra.
Each design moves with you from beach days to golden nights and every memory in between.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold. Goodbye.
If you're thinking about your bra all day, you're probably wearing the wrong bra.
If you're ready for a bra that's designed to support you, not distract you, there's Honeylove.
Honeylove is an independent, female-founded brand with products designed by women who actually wear them. Treat yourself to the most advanced bras and shapewear on the market.
Use our exclusive link to save 20% off Honeylove at honeylove.com/MFM.
That's honeylove.com/MFM.
After you check out, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Experience the new standard in comfort and support with Honeylove.
Goodbye.
Hey everybody, here's the thing about other home security systems. They're all designed for after the window breaks, after someone's inside, after you get the notification, after the police come. SimpliSafe is the first system designed for before, stopping a break-in before it even begins.
That's right. Unlike traditional security systems that only alert you after a break-in is already underway, SimpliSafe is designed to help prevent the crime before it starts. Their cameras can detect suspicious activity at the perimeter and alert live U.S.-based agents. Then SimpliSafe's agents assess the threat, intervene, speak through the camera to scare off the intruders, and call for 911 dispatch.
That's right, and SimpliSafe has been protecting your world for 20 years, everybody. So celebrate their anniversary and save 60% on your new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/stuff. That's 60% off, you guys, at simplisafe.com/stuff. Plus, when you order, write in our show name and the How Did You Hear About Us survey to let them know that we sent you. Don't forget, there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Get into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event and get away with a deal so right, it almost feels wrong.
Right now, you can get great deals on Hyundai's most popular models,
including the adventure-ready SUVs like the Hyundai Santa Fe or Santa Fe Hybrid and the Tucson or Tucson Hybrid.
Plus, there's the bold and stylish Elantra loaded with the latest tech.
Or go all-electric with the Ioniq 5 or the Ioniq 9.
So get down to your local Hyundai dealer and get away with a deal you'll love during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Visit HyundaiUSA.com for details.
Goodbye. Hello. Big news, everybody. Exactly Right's newest podcast, Trust Me, is finally here.
Trust Me is a show about cults, extreme belief, manipulation, and the people who've lived through it.
And it's hosted by two cult survivors, Lola, Blanc, and Meagan Elizabeth.
Every week, they talk to survivors, experts, and sometimes even people still inside these groups to figure out how belief can turn into control and what it takes to break free.
Today, you're going to hear the story of artist and writer Akina Cox, who grew up in the Unification Church, also known as the Moonies.
It is a fascinating, powerful story, and it's the perfect example of why Trust Me is such an important show and why we're so excited to have him on the network.
So settle in and get ready to hear the first episode of Trust Me here on Exactly Right.
Now, this is a two-parter, so when you are done with this episode you're about to hear, head over to Trust Me's feed to hear part 2, and then you can binge their back catalog of over 200 episodes.
Listen to Trust Me on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure to leave a rating or review. It really helps.
And now, please enjoy Exactly Right's newest podcast, Trust Me.
Goodbye.
Trust me.
Do you trust me?
Would I ever lead you astray?
Trust me.
This is the truth, the only truth.
If anybody ever tells you to just trust them,
don't! Welcome to Trust Me, the podcast about cults, extreme belief, and manipulation from two future brides who've actually experienced it. I am Lola Blanc.
And I am Meagan Elizabeth.
Today, our guest is Akina Cox, artist and writer who grew up in the Unification Church, also known as the Moonies. In part 1 today, we'll talk to her about the background on the church and leader, Reverend Moon, how her parents both joined by getting rides from members in the 70s and getting a subsequent invitation to dinner, and what it was like being a member of this group growing up.
She'll tell us about the mass wedding ceremony that she participated in, how her family moved to the border of North and South Korea, the lavish lifestyle the Reverend Moon was living while its members were often working long hours without pay, and how she began to question the church when she went to college.
And next week, in part 2, we will talk more about our current political landscape and the Salon article she wrote about the parallels she sees between her upbringing in a cult and the Trump administration's ICE crackdowns. Before we get to our guest, we do have a big announcement.
What is it, Lola?
Well, Meagan, I think you already know this, but for our listeners, we have transitioned to a new home and we are now at Exactly Right Media.
So exciting.
This has been our dream network for so long. We are so excited to make this move and so happy to be back with y'all listening to us.
Lola, do you know how we got on Exactly Right Media?
Tell me, Meagan.
I put Exactly Right on my vision board, so here we are.
And I think that's magical thinking.
And I think you're wrong. And that's what we do a lot on this podcast. We think each other are wrong.
Indeed. Which is maybe a good transition to explain to y'all who we are. I am Lola Blanc, resident skeptic. And I am somebody who believed in a cult leader myself as a child. I was originally a mainstream regular Mormon, and then a man swooped in and manipulated my mother. And then I believed that he was a prophet of God. And it was a scam. It was a very harrowing experience for my mother. He did prey upon her LDS beliefs, and he has continued to do that with other people until we got out of it. And ever since that experience, which you can listen to the full story of on episode 1 of this podcast, my mom was our very first guest. But ever since then, I have been extremely interested in how people's beliefs get preyed upon by manipulators and how we are all influenced to believe crazy things and how it happens to people who are incredibly intelligent and wise and thoughtful and curious because so many of our guests really are like that. So I decided that I wanted to create a podcast that centered the survivors and centered the human experience of it and didn't make it this like scary thing, but like really showed people what it's like to have that experience. And I was looking for somebody who could share that with me. And I fortunately was introduced to Meagan by a mutual friend, and I got to hear a little bit about her story, which she can tell you about.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of this podcast is really interesting. I was sitting with our mutual friend who was we're very good friends with him, but we'd never met before. Like, for example, we're both going to his birthday tonight. How did we never meet each other?
That's so weird.
Anyway, I was sitting with him and he got a text and he was like, oh my God, my friend just asked if I know any therapists who grew up in a cult. And I was a therapist at the time who grew up in a cult. And I grew up in the 2x2s. It's really exploding into the news right now because it's somehow been kept a secret for more than 100 years. But some people call it the truth, the way, the worker religion, Cooneites, whatever you might call it.
Oh, I've never heard that one.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. We actually have an interview with 2 ex-2x2s, Carrie and Kyle Hanks, that you can go listen to. So I'm 4th generation on both sides of my family. My parents met through it, and very odd growing up experience because it's kind of like being Amish, but you have to live in the normal world and go to normal school, but you just have to kind of look weird. Like you have to be weird enough in the world that people are like, there's something special about you. Is it Jesus? So no television, long skirts, long hair, really scared to hell, lots of religious trauma. And this podcast has been such a gift because I just keep getting to deconstruct with every episode that we do.
It's so amazing to be able to hear our guest stories and connect with them and be able to joke about our experiences because that's very important. It can't just be, we can't just live in the darkness, although sometimes a little darkness is necessary.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of darkness, sometimes a little darkness, but I think we always come back to being very life-affirming and hopeful and kind of the opposite of what cults teach us to be.
Yeah, we're all about that post-traumatic growth, baby.
Resilience,
yeah. Baby. So for the next segment that we do on this show, the cultiest thing of the week, I ask Meagan what the most cult-like thing that she experienced that week is. So Meagan, I would love to know what your cultiest thing of the week is.
Well, my cultiest thing was actually something that I read about in one of Akina's articles, which is this woman known as the MAGA Granny. You've heard of her, of course. Her name is Pamela Hemphill, and she went and rioted on January 6th, and Trump pardoned her, and she said no to his pardon. She said that she was being led by something that was not her critical mind, and that she wants to serve her time and not be pardoned. I mean, she did serve her time, but she still, doesn't want the pardon.
That is so interesting and I want to have her on so badly.
I know, me too.
Yeah, I'd be so curious to know. And I did read a little bit about that when she first spoke out about that. I'd be so curious to know more about just like what was going on for her when that happened, how she thinks about everybody else who's gotten the part, like there's just so much there I want to know more about.
Yeah, one of the interesting things she said that makes it my cultiest thing of the week was that what got her out of her groupthink was that she started engaging with people on X that had different thoughts than her, and they were like just being kind of conversational and not accusatory, and she had, interesting good faith dialogue. So
that's actually also how Meagan Phelps Roper, I believe, who was a member of the Westboro Baptist Church, that's also how she began to question and eventually leave that horrible family.
Yeah, she was his daughter. So a great story. She was also just engaging with people who were having good faith conversations with her.
Yeah, not to say that always happens.
No.
But it is really interesting and gives me hope when it does happen.
Yeah, and I think next week's episode, when we talk to her more, she kind of calls back to stuff like this. So throwing it out this week. What about you? What's your cultiest thing of the week?
Well, this is another thing we will actually talk more about next week. But I feel I would be remiss in our first proper episode back if I didn't address our current political landscape.
Of course.
So, okay, we all know that Trump blames immigrants for all things in the world and, generally anyone on the left and trans people. He uses fear-mongering language about them. And now there have been these horrific ICE crackdowns in which people are getting deported en masse at higher rates than ever before. And I will say, Democrats were also engaging in too many ICE deportations. Mm-hmm. But this is now happening at a new level where people are being targeted simply for being brown, and people who have the, quote, wrong perspective or think differently from what Trump wants are also being targeted. These are all extremely culty things that are happening when you are demonizing a group of people and trying to eliminate anybody who is critiquing you. He has used language like wanting to deport the worst, has used all this really, fear-mongering language. And I just want to shout out some statistics here because 72% of the people that have been recently detained by ICE have no criminal convictions. Using their own scale that rates the threat of each detainee, 84% of people detained by ICE were deemed to be level 1, which is no threat. Of course, if somebody is committing a violent crime, sure, but that's not what's happening here. And I will mention this next week as well, but the idea that immigrants are somehow more criminal than other people is false, and it's actually the opposite because data consistently shows that undocumented immigrants commit less crimes than people who are born here. A National Institute of Justice study examining data from the Texas Department of Public Safety found that undocumented immigrants are arrested at less than half the rate of U.S.-born citizens for violent crimes and a quarter the rate of U.S.-born citizens for property crimes. Another report found that immigrants have consistently had lower incarceration than people that were born here for the last 150 years. This has been true. And meanwhile, the daily average of people being processed into the system has doubled since the beginning of this year because of an arbitrary quota coming from Trump, who wants to enact the biggest mass deportations in history. And now, of course, with this big, stupid fucking bill, we've expanded ICE funding to unprecedentedly high levels. And it's very alarming. I would encourage folks, and I know that if anyone listening is a Trump supporter, I probably already lost them. I already lost them. But I would say, what I've been trying to do more of is look at some of what he writes and examine the language and the purpose of that language. He did this crazy Memorial Day post that's just using rapists, criminals, evil, murderers, horrible, look at the language and what the goal of that language is. And then what is the result that's actually happening? Because what's happening right now is just that people who are working in farms and paying taxes are being sent away for no reason.
Right.
That is not the America that I want to live in.
Well, as she says in Clueless, doesn't say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty.
That is the correct way to end that comment, to end my rant. I have no good conclusion. That's the truth. I have no good conclusion. It's very scary. I hope that we all can work together to combat this.
Well, I think Akina gives us a lot of good perspective on how she grew up and what we can do moving forward. So please listen to this week's episode, enjoy it, and listen to next week's as well, because she gives some really great ideas.
Yeah, we will talk more next week about how to sort of manage
Yeah.
our emotional state and also feel like we're contributing something. But for now,
Let's dig in.
let's talk to Akina about her childhood in the Unification Church.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace.
Every successful small business starts with someone saying, I wonder if people would actually buy this.
Squarespace gives you everything you need to find out.
From consultations to events and experiences, you can showcase your skills with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business.
With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a beautiful, professional online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business.
Get paid on time with professional invoices and online payments. Plus, streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools.
Head to squarespace.com/murder for a free trial.
And when you're ready to launch, use offer code MURDER to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Goodbye.
Buying clothes is easy. That's why everyone's always doing it.
But finding clothes you actually want to wear is the hard part.
Get all your favorite elevated essentials at Quince.
Quince specializes in effortless, high-quality essentials like ultra-soft organic cotton and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They're beautifully tailored and built to last. And it's not just apparel. Quince also brings that same everyday elevation to everything they offer, from hotel-quality bedding and bath to kitchen staples, essentials, and thoughtfully designed furniture.
They work directly with ethical factories, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup.
It's so true that they have wonderful items that aren't just clothes. I have like 3 of their 100% mulberry silk pillowcases. I've bought throws from there. I've bought bedding from there. And it is just as great quality as their clothes and super affordable.
Upgrade your everyday.
Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/MFM. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada and the UK too.
QUINCE.com/MFM.
Goodbye.
The right piece of furniture can completely change your room.
And your life. It's amazing what one good couch can do for morale.
And that's why there's Article.
Article makes it effortless to create a stylish, long-lasting home at an unbeatable price.
They take great care in curating their collection, focusing on pieces that stand the test of time. There's no filler. Every item is chosen for its craftsmanship, design, and lasting value.
And with Article's 30-day satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence, knowing that if you're not completely in love with your new furniture, you can easily return it.
I recently needed to replace my old outdoor dining room table and chairs, so of course I went straight to Article. They have the Sarik outdoor dining set. I got it in khaki green. It's such a cute, like minty green. It looks so good in my backyard. I can't wait to have alfresco dinners all summer. You know, we can carve pumpkins on it in fall. It's so beautiful. Article knocked it out of the park once again.
Article's offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
To claim, visit article.com/murder and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout.
That's article.com/murder for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
Goodbye.
Welcome, Akina Cox, to Trust Me. Thanks for being here in the studio with us today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Okay, so we have you here with us today because you wrote an incredible article for Salon, right?
Yes.
About how you are seeing parallels between your childhood in a cult and our current administration and some of the behaviors with ICE. let's just start out talking about how you grew up, because we have not done an episode on the Unification Church, aka the Moonies, since Steve Hassan, which is years ago at this point. So tell us, how did your parents end up in the Unification Church?
Okay, so I'm a second generation member of the Unification Church, or I was before I left, which means that my parents joined, which is the situation for like a lot of people my age who grew up in the church. A lot of our parents joined in the 70s or late 60s. And then we were born, a lot of us, in the 80s because Reverend Moon, who was the leader of the Unification Church, he did a lot of arranged mass weddings. Both my parents were hippies, and they were born in the mid-50s. So my dad barely escaped getting drafted into Vietnam. And he was just hitchhiking across the country. And he met someone who was chatting with him and told him about world peace and, you know, all these great things they could do together. And then he went to get some free dinner with this guy. And then, then went to that second location.
Yeah.
And,
what a like quintessential.
yeah.
What year was that? Do you know?
It was, I'm guessing, like 73.
Yeah. I mean, when
around
people
then.
were hitchhiking, a guy picks you up hitchhiking, tells you about world peace, and
And
pulls you
feeds
into
you?
a cult. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
feeds you. That's a key.
And you eat the
Yeah.
food they give you?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know like what was going on for him at that time? Was that something he was really like searching for? Was a message of peace?
Honestly, I feel like his story is kind of emblematic of a larger story of like a bunch of kids who grew up right after World War II. Like my granddads on both sides were in World War II. And, you know, they came home and didn't really want to talk about it. And there was pressure to be perfect. And then all of a sudden they're supposed to go off and fight in this Vietnam War, which sounded crazy. And I think there was, they felt like they couldn't trust the dominant culture. Like they don't want to trust this government that's sending them off to war to die. So then they're like more open for these other groups coming along.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes so much sense, and it makes me think about how we're in such a cult era again right now, because there's that like resistance to the establishment is very prevalent right now, understandably, because the establishment is doing terrible things on so many levels. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into that later. But like just hearing you say that, I'm like, that's now.
Yeah. I know. I feel like when I first left the church and I would talk about my experiences with other people, there was this attitude of like, oh my gosh, that was so like an exotic time, you know, and you just kind of see it through the lens of a film camera, you know, like hippies in LA wearing flowy dresses and talking about world peace and, you know, eating vegan food or whatever. And it felt like such a time that was inaccessible, but it now feels like it's come back again. Where
it's
people,
making a comeback.
Yeah, I do. I feel like I connect with
I know.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess.
At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards, now streaming on Hulu.
Goodbye. Grocery shopping seems like it should take 20 minutes.
And then 2 hours later, you're standing at the checkout with a frozen pizza and 6 different types of chips.
Lucky for you, there's Hungry Root.
Hungry Root is like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist all wrapped in one. They'll take care of the weekly grocery shopping and recommend groceries and meals tailored to you.
Once you tell them about your goals and preferences, they fill your cart with personalized recommendations. And those recommendations get smarter as Hungry Root learns more about what you did or didn't like.
Most of Hungry Root's recipes can be made in just 15 minutes or less. You can't get any easier than one-pan shakshuka. I've always said that.
Yeah, I love the convenience and also the fact that I don't have to go park anywhere.
Thank God Hungry Root's around to help us shop and help us build really healthy and delicious meals.
For a limited time, get 40% off your first order, plus get a free item in every box for life.
Go to hungryroot.com/MFM and use code MFM.
That's hungryroot.com/MFM, code MFM to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Goodbye. There's nothing better than just laying around.
Whether you're fully horizontal or at a slant, it cannot be beaten.
Unless, of course, you have a Lola blanket.
Lola is the world's #1 blanket, crafted with ultra-soft luxury vegan faux fur and a signature 4-way stretch that sets it apart.
Their products are machine washable and double hemmed for durability, and they stay flawless. No pilling, no shedding, even after repeated washes.
And there's more. Lola also makes weighted blankets, matching pillow sets, and super soft pet beds.
Lola is a great go-to gift. It's personal, beautiful, and something your loved ones can actually use every day.
For a limited time, our listeners can get 40% off select Lola Blankets products with code MFM at checkout.
Just head to lolablankets.com and use code MFM to get 40% off your order.
After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you.
Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola Blankets.
Goodbye.
What about your mom? How did she get?
So she joined in a similar way. Okay, so she, I don't think, has been formally diagnosed with anything, but she sees spirits.
She's
all the
using
time.
air quotes.
Yes. So my theory is that she was off to college. I think she was starting to have some like mental health issues. She came home to Berkeley, California. She didn't really want to talk about it with her family. Understandably, I'm sure she was like not sure how to explain it. Like 70s mental health treatments were not that great.
Yeah.
Right.
So then she was like doing homework at the local library, met some guys who wanted to give her a ride home. And she took it.
A lot of rides happening here.
Yes. And they invited her to come by their house for dinner. And then, yeah.
Your
So a
parents are
playbook.
kind of the perfect couple. They love rides and dinner.
Which is funny because they're like not great cooks. Like I would expect better food
Okay,
from them.
low key, I relate. I cannot cook and I do not cook. And if someone was like, I will give you food, I always say yes. So that must have been a common tactic to look for people who needed rides.
It was a common tactic. I heard that they often, like recruiters would look for people with wearing backpacks because it meant you were like going somewhere or in school or in some period of transition. And I mean, they tried this like all day, every day. So I'm sure they talked to like 100 people that day.
Right.
And my mom is the one that fell for it.
Wow. And before you were born, presumably, was when the mass wedding.
Yeah. So they were supposed to, back in the day, work for the church for many years before you have the option of getting married. It was something like 3 or 7 years, one of those where you're supposed to like essentially work for free. And you're like volunteering 24/7, living out of a van, either going from like city to city fundraising, selling little tchotchkes and trinkets and saying it's, you know, for your world peace or for your youth group or whatever. or they were living out of these church centers and just recruiting people from the nearby city. And so they did that for several years. And then they got married in the famous Madison Square Garden blessing. Well, we call it blessing. It's a mass wedding ceremony. I think that was 1982.
I mean, it blows my mind how big this...
It was.
Can you tell us how big?
Their blessing was several thousand couples. I want to say 3,000 or 3,000 people.
That's
so
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
Can you just for those not familiar with the Unification Church, also known as the Moonies, they apparently say now that saying the Moonies is a derogatory term.
I know. I've heard they sometimes go out, or they used to go after people for saying that, like it's a slur or something, but you can call it whatever you want to me.
Yeah. Right. I mean, what was this group? Paint a picture for listeners who don't know.
Yes. So the Unification Church was started by Reverend Sun Myung Moon, in, I want to say, the 1950s in Korea. So after World War II, there was the Korean War. I think it started around 1950. And he grew up in North Korea. He escaped by essentially walking down to the end of South Korea because, it's kind of like this very long peninsula.
So we have an exciting origin story from this
Yes.
man.
Wow.
And I want to say there's like a million asterisks I'm laying in here because a lot of what he said was obviously not true.
Right.
Like I heard this story that he like crossed the Han River, which is, maybe it's the Imjin River. Anyway, he crossed this river with a man on his back that he carefully carried him down because this man wasn't able to walk. And there's like a picture of it, like in a bunch of church centers. Turns out it's not the same guy. It's like not Reverend Moon in that picture.
Oh, really?
It's like someone else, but everyone
just relying on white people's racism.
It was a very blurry, like black and white picture from the 1950s.
Wow.
So yeah. So like
we don't
everything is wrong.
Yeah.
But
from his perspective,
he went to South Korea. He started preaching. There were a bunch of random cults in that area because my theory is, again, when like there's crazy upheaval, then there's more room for these cults to come about. And so there were a bunch of other ones. He seems to have gotten some ideas from some cults. He starts to get popular. He's getting in trouble with the law because he says he's anti-communist. Maybe the problem was bigamy. So anyway, but he is getting bigger and bigger. He moves to the States in 1971 and starts like going on these big speaking tours and getting lots of people to come. And kids just start dropping out of high school, joining. It kind of started a moral panic. And we have people like deprogrammers who started kidnapping people who were in the cult because their parents were just like, where did these guys go?
That was one of the most interesting things about your story to me, was that the deprogrammers for your parents became kind of a repeatable story of like, we escaped the deprogrammers.
Oh, yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about that?
Okay. So I grew up with these stories of my mom trying to smooth things over with her family, being like, it's fine, I'm in this group, don't worry about me. Okay, I'll meet up with you. According to her, my grandmother did hire deprogrammers to come and kidnap her. And she like acted like everything was fine. And then my mom ran away as soon as she could and made her way back to a church property. Yeah.
The thing I'm just finding so fascinating with this story and also with everything these days is North Korea, obviously very cult-like culture.
Oh, yeah.
You escape that, you start a cult. Deprogrammers, getting people out of the cult in that era were very much their own cultic dynamic.
Yeah.
Who were, like in essence, like very abusive a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Why can't we just respond to a cult culture by not creating a new one? Why is it so hard for us?
It's a cult within a cult within a cult within a cult.
It's just never ending. We react, you know?
And it's just so interesting, the narratives that we make about what happened, because to your mother, this was like a heroic story. Like, I escaped the deprogrammers.
Which probably was partly valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Totally. I later heard from another family member that it happened, like, according to them, like, much more relaxed. And, they just wanted to talk to my mom. But my mom saw them and thought, I'm about to be kidnapped.
Right.
And so they were actually, like, on a boat. And my mom, like, jumped over the side, according to her, and just, like, swam away
What?
when no one was looking.
Wow. But yeah, but that was before you.
That was way before I was born. I think when I came along, well, first of all, when people got married in the church, if you're legally married to someone, then if they have like a psychotic break or if there's something wrong with them, then their spouse is in charge of them, right? So once my mom got married, my grandparents couldn't really try and kidnap her anymore. Because I think what they were doing with the deprogrammers was they were kidnapping them, bringing them to a favorable judge who would say, this person can't make decisions for themselves. And then they would have to get treatment.
I see.
Or, they would have to at least be under their parents' like legal
Like a Britney
control.
Spears,
yes.
but in a good way.
Or
Hopefully.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can't really do that if someone is married because then it's just their partner that becomes in
And now
charge
the
of them.
partner's also in the group.
Yeah.
So they're
Right.
okay.
Right.
So between that and then me being born, I think my grandparents were like, okay, we just want to like, let's see if we can like not all be friends, but, not try and kidnap her anymore so that we get to see our grandkids sometimes.
Right. So what were some of the beliefs of the group?
So it's kind of Christian and kind of weird.
That describes like almost all of them.
So many. I feel like it's like very like Mormon-y adjacent where you're like, oh, we have the Bible. Then we have this other book.
Right.
And this other book says this other guy is the new.
Yeah, because he was prophet-y. He was
Reverend Moon said he was the Messiah.
He was Jesus back in a new form because Jesus took a time out when he got crucified.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was picking it back up from there.
Yeah. Jesus pleaded with him to take over when he was 15.
Aw.
And he graciously accepted.
That
So
was so nice.
nice.
Of
So
him.
sweet.
Yeah.
So he said everyone has to be married because that is the way to erase original sin. And then you can, if you go to a blessing and you have babies, then your kids are going to be born without original sin.
Oh.
Perfect way to create more members.
Yeah.
So that was the gist of it. There was like a lot of other stuff, like there's evil spirits everywhere and we're in a battle between good and evil. And there was a sociologist who coined the term doomsday cult, and it was about the Unification Church. It's a very kind of a textbook cult. And a lot of textbooks were actually written about it in the 70s because I feel like it came into prominence like while sociology like was kind of really having a moment. So also the term love bombing was invented by the church. It was like really into like being really nice to people and getting them to join the cult.
So these marriages were arranged, right?
They were all arranged in the church.
What were other forms of control that the church had over people's lives?
I'm like, what wasn't? It was like, I mean, in the beginning, people all lived together in like communes, kind of. When I was like a baby, people started to move out because we were all supposed to like move away and start our own like little outposts, essentially. But like we all woke up really early on every Sunday morning to recite a pledge at 5 a.m. where we, like reiterated. It's almost like the Pledge of Allegiance, but it was longer and it was to the church or to Reverend Moon.
Do you remember it?
It changed around a little bit. So like every 5 or 10 years, they would change the words. There was something about blood, sweat, and tears. There was something about vanquishing your enemy.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. It was a little bit more hardcore when I was a kid. And then I feel like it tried to get a little softer when I was older, but
Wow. Interesting. And like, were these instructions coming from Reverend Moon or was there local leadership?
There was local leadership, but it was very much a top-down situation where we weren't supposed to really differ in any way from each other.
Right.
What were your thoughts about it? How did you how did you feel about it?
I feel like when I was a kid, there was just so many opportunities to do something wrong that I was really caught up in the you weren't supposed to date. You were supposed to not really talk about the church to most outsiders.
This is like the group I grew up in. This is
Yeah,
like the
which
2x2s.
group?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're supposed to act so different that people go, "What group are you in?"
Oh my God, same.
Okay. So yeah.
Yes. And then there's this whole idea that there's like evil spirits everywhere and you have to appease them or you're like fighting them or whatever. You have to do.
That would scare you. Evil spirit. Yeah.
I
Are
mean,
you talking about my sleep paralysis
demons, yeah.
and I feel like there's something similar with Mormons where Mormons, they baptize dead people, but we wouldn't marry dead people.
You'd marry dead people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What do you mean?
So ostensibly you would like go and pay for them to get blessed. Like you would say, oh, my grandparents died before they could get married in the church. I will pay money. And then in the spirit world, they'll be married.
And so they'll be saved.
So they'll be
I did
saved
that.
because they can go to heaven.
Are dead people marrying other dead people?
So mostly, but when I...
Why are we laughing?
Because you know what's coming. When I was like 8, I went to a mass wedding. I was in the nosebleed section because it's often happens in stadiums. And
Wow.
yeah. And I saw rows of big girls wearing pretty dresses, which was exciting. And then at some point I hear the announcer saying like, so-and-so is getting married to Buddha. So-and-so is getting married to St. Francis. So-and-so's, I don't know, just like listing off all these famous dead people that are getting married to women who were on the stage.
Wow.
And I was so far away. I didn't see that these were like 80-year-old women who were just like getting married to a dead person.
Oh my God.
I thought I was like, oh, is that an option for me? Am I going to like apply to be blessed?
Marry Elvis or something.
Yeah. And they'll be like, here's, I don't know, General Patton or something. I was like, are they gonna how do you check a box to make sure you're not giving a dead person? Because I don't want that.
That would have kept me up at night.
Yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah.
Aside from that, was it exciting? Like, what was that like, seeing those ceremonies?
They were long.
Boring.
Yeah.
It wasn't like going to a pop concert.
Okay. So apparently Whitney Houston was supposed to sing at one of the blessings in Washington, D.C. in like the late 90s. And she backed out last minute. And I was there and I would have been so excited to see her.
I'm so sorry.
Freaking jerk.
Yeah.
That might be one of the worst
I love
things
you, Whitney.
that happened in the story. Just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's so traumatic.
I mean, how is he choosing who marries who?
So for my parents, it was like everyone who was eligible and whose central figure or like their local pastor said it was okay. They would go to a big room and there'd be like women on one side, men on the other, and you just go down, bang, 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 bang. Kind of just like be like, you and you, or maybe you, and like just take a second. And then when I came along, it was supposed to be, well, he still arranged people in person sometimes, but he was like kind of retired from that. You could also just send in your picture and they would like pick out a picture of a dude and send it back to you.
How many of these marriages were successful? Do we know?
Well, according to the church, they were
all of
very
them.
successful. And so I did end up going to one when I was 21, I want to say. And of all my friends who were in one, most of them have gotten divorced, obviously.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And there's like a couple of us left. And then there's like a couple of people who are like still really in the church and have a bunch of kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
We went to one. Do you remember that?
No.
You went to a...
You don't remember?
No.
Wow.
Wait, you went to what?
We went to a Unification Church Sunday service out of curiosity because It was like when we
Oh,
first
yeah,
started
yeah,
the
yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
and we hadn't
Where
even
was
aired
it? In
yet.
Pasadena?
Possibly. It was in like, I thought it was in more of like an outskirts town maybe,
Okay.
but it might have been.
Yeah.
Like we were thinking maybe we would do an episode on it, but it was so boring that there just wasn't enough to talk about.
That's a tactic, don't you think? Where it's just like, because I feel like, again, the 2x2s kind of do that. They make it so boring that you're like hypnotized and somehow they're not really saying anything, but you think they've said something smart.
Yeah, well, that's what I talked about in the essay. Was I was noticing that Trump kind of also does that. It's called the shotgun argument, where they just tell you a lot of random points all at the same time. And the point is not to overwhelm you with their intellect, but just to kind of stun you. And so you don't have a foothold of like how to argue
Right.
back.
Right.
That's so fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works
Yeah.
because you just disassociate so much and it just goes straight into your brain.
That's so interesting to me, though, because I feel like the people who seem to want to stay in the cults the most are the ones who are having more heightened emotional experiences.
But mine was like the fear was going straight into
And
my
the anxiety.
The anxiety was, but like the thoughts weren't going through my critical mind. I was just beamed with fear, but it didn't make sense what they were even saying because it doesn't make sense.
Mormon church used to be 3 hours long when I was growing up, and it was so fucking boring. But sometimes, like, a missionary would go up, or you'd have an engaging bishop, and he would like start crying. And I don't know why I'm saying he. I feel like I only remember it being men for some reason.
Yeah.
But somebody would go up and bear their testimony, and it'd be really moving. And those would be the talks that I'd be like, I believe in this church. It wouldn't be the boring guys ever.
Give me a testimony.
When I was a kid, when it was like time for that at camp, I'd be like, yes, tell me your life story.
Were you into it? Were you like, I want to give my testimony. I love this church.
Well, so when I was a kid, again, I feel like I was just mostly anxious all the time because there were so many ways to sin or do something wrong, or, and my parents were like, had anger issues and were abusive in different ways. So I was more like, just like survival mode and like, okay, yeah, let me try and do everything perfectly to, fit in here. And when I was 16, I did have a moment where I was like, oh, I think there's something to this church.
Interesting.
And I like got really into it for like, I feel like a year or two. That was also a time where, so we're skipping ahead a bit, but I had been raised on the Jersey Shore mostly. And then my parents, because my mom had a vision from God, decided to move us to Korea. This was in the year 2000. And she moved us to the border of North and South Korea. So close that we could like hear the North Korean speak loud system.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very close. And we were in the middle of nowhere, like absolutely in the middle of nowhere. And like you had to walk 2 miles through rice paddies to get to a bus station. And I think part of me was just like, almost had this moment where I was like, okay, I need to like belong here. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind.
Right. That makes sense.
So I got really into it. And then I went to college and I heard a lecture about critical thinking, about like how to tell what kind of arguments people are using against you, like the straw man fallacy or whatever. It was just like a 1-hour lecture. But I remember reading it or like listening to the lecture and being like, oh my gosh, this is great. I will understand more about the church through this because I'll be able to make these critical arguments in support of the church.
Wow.
And then I went back to my dorm room and I tried to read church material and I was like, oh shit.
Oh no.
What did that feel like?
I took my books, my church books, and I just threw them in the back of my closet. And I was like, I'm not going to think about this for a little bit. And
That sounds like a good plan, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I would do too. That's for later.
Yeah. So then it took me a few more years. And then like finally there was a moment like in my mid-20s where I was like, oh, okay, now it's time to leave.
Wow. What a great argument for having critical thinking classes in school.
I know.
I want to go back a little bit though, because before you moved away, you were in New Jersey. Were you on like a compound? Or?
No. So when I was born, my parents lived in the New Yorker Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, which is a building owned by the church. And like a bunch of church families lived in it at the time. And then Reverend Moon was like, you all need to leave because you need to like start your own outposts because if we're all together, we can't get more people to join the church. So my parents moved an hour south to the Jersey Shore, and I grew up mostly there, but then we would do church stuff on the weekends or in the summers. But then during the week, I sometimes was going to public school and just had to like pretend I was normal, which was impossible.
Wow, yeah.
It was impossible. It was like, I was
You
like,
relate so hard.
I relate
I
so
know.
hard. Yeah.
well, at least you have a normal name. My name is Akina. And this was the
true.
90s on the
It's
Jersey
so true.
Shore. Do
Yeah,
you know how
no.
many Laurens I went to school with?
Yep.
And I was like, and they were like, what's your name? Akina. Why are you wearing like weird baggy stained clothes? Like, or like just like big clothes to hide your body because you're modest.
I
And
hear
Oh,
you.
was that a thing?
yeah. Yeah. Girls are the devil and, we.
Sure.
Yeah, blah, blah.
As we all know.
As we all know, yes.
So would that, like if I were walking down the street in the 70s, would I be able to identify who the Moonies were?
You probably wouldn't.
Okay.
But there were giveaways. There was like a lot of times they were selling flowers on street corners of the city or that was the biggest thing was they were like selling things like little trinkets. But I feel like I can tell because oftentimes if someone was getting blessed, they would wear a blessing ring. And so it's like, there's like little tells if you are a church member.
I can also tell, and no one else
From your church.
Yeah, and other members wouldn't be able to tell. But I'm like, that's
Yeah.
and I'll ask, and they'll usually be.
I was convinced I had that power as well for Mormons. I did identify successfully other Mormon children in random places like multiple times.
I'm sure they loved that.
No, it was like a bonding thing.
Oh, okay.
I feel
But
like-
you were a child as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was you as an
No,
adult.
when I
Mormon
was a
child.
She's at a playground. Parents are calling the cops.
That would be like, hey, a fellow 12-year-old who
Yes.
looks awkward here.
Yeah.
And they often had CTR rings too. That was one of our giveaways. Choose the right.
Oh,
Every kid had a CTR ring.
amazing. Well, I mean, in the 2x2s, they say that we can tell each other because of the spirit, and it's not because of the bun or the
Or the long dress.
the long dress and the like very specific type of long dress. It's just
Sure.
the spirit. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. So you were allowed to go to college. So what was the policy on or the thinking on outsiders versus us?
So outsiders were being controlled by Satan.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
And and we needed to like win them over, but they needed to be approached very carefully. And they were essentially our enemy, but they didn't know that. And so it was very confusing for a kid to navigate.
Yeah.
I was allowed to go to college, you're right, but it was frowned upon.
Mm.
And a lot of my friends went and did like a 2-year program, at least in between, very, again, similar to Mormons. It's like Mormons with the Asian twist or something.
Yeah.
But they were doing a 2-year program where they were going out, not so much to proselytize, although that did happen, but again, to fundraise and make a shitload of money for the church because they were just like cute 18-year-olds. They were just sending out to random street corners in random cities with like a bucket of wind chimes or flowers and being like, selling them in cash for 12 hours, 16 hours a day. So a lot of people were pushed to do that. My parents are a little bit strange in that they were very devout, but they did not want me going on that program. There were kids who were badly injured and in a couple of cases were killed on that program.
How?
So there were a few fatalities because they were sending out teams of these teens in vans and they were working sometimes for 24 hours. Like they would sometimes do like, it was almost like a fasting thing where they would, instead of fasting, they would be just fundraising for 24 hours. They were insanely sleep deprived,
Wow.
driving these large vans. So there were a couple, at least 1 or 2 car crashes. Then they had also sent out a teenager and she was murdered because she like knocked on the wrong door.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had at the time been trying to get my parents to let me go on this mission because like all my friends were going. And I was so tired of being like the only church kid at a school and not knowing anyone. And I'd wanted to go, and then I was like, oh, they're never going to let me go. But yeah, so to my knowledge, that program is still going on today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to a question I have about the Moonies and money. Like,
Yeah.
what was
That is-
happening?
I feel like that's a really good question. And I feel like the story is undertold, even though it's been like right under our noses the whole time. So basically, ever since the 70s, when Reverend Moon was here, he was like starting businesses and like putting his henchmen in charge. So there was like nominally not super related to the church, but definitely related to the church. And so he was like plowing this money back into the church and back into these businesses. And then with those profits, he was also donating them to politicians, to think tanks.
Really?
He started a right-wing newspaper decades ago called the Washington Times. So he's like kind of the story behind MAGA, in my opinion, is that like I
Whoa.
don't think MAGA would exist without Reverend Moon, because he started the Washington Times. He gave a voice to these Republican, conservative politicians. He gave them tons of money. They would do things like, I even noticed, we spoke about January 6th. I even noticed on January 6th, Matt Gaetz got up in front of Congress and said, oh, it's Antifa who is in charge of January 6th. The Washington Times said so. And he like had an article from them with him. And so I feel like they've done that a lot. Like they would write an article and like either Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity would pick it up in the 90s or the 80s. And then like some congressman would use it as something they could point to.
And it feels like
To give them
as evidence.
validity.
Fascinating.
feels like family values were really at the core of the
Yeah.
message.
It was very much anti-communism, and then it became like, traditional family values and anti-gay, anti-feminist, just this is a bunch of boring dudes screaming.
Yeah.
Really. And just like causing a lot of trouble, not only in America, but they've done this to other countries as well, where they just like really, I feel like, are responsible for a right-wing lurch.
Like by buying up a media.
Yeah, by buying it up, by starting it. Like Reagan said the Washington Times was his favorite newspaper and he read it every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
The amount of influence that you can have when you buy a frickin' newspaper.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. And for a long time, like they were there before Fox Media. They were there before OAN. OAN started in their offices. Fox News, like they have Washington Times contributors on there. They kind of like were the mama newspaper to like birth all these like shitty conservative
Yeah.
like media companies.
Yeah.
So they're all connected.
Wow, that is fascinating.
And more than that, he like gave money to Reagan. He was like very involved with the Bush family, Reverend Moon. He gave them tons of money. Even though Reverend Moon died in 2012, the Unification Church, like they paid Trump to speak at one of their things just like a few years ago, like in 2022.
And Bush spoke at one of them.
Bush spoke a lot.
Yeah, like they were locked in.
They were
with
locked in with Bush.
Was he taking money for himself? Was Reverend Moon like living lavish?
He's very much a Trump guy, like in that he bought up a crap load of properties in the 70s, like a whole university in Connecticut, farms in Hawaii, a seminary in upstate New York, a skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan.
As one does.
Yeah. He and his family had property everywhere.
And like, was he enriching, like, was he living a very lavish lifestyle himself? Yeah. Golden toilet?
I don't know about the toilet situation. I know he had like helicopters and, you know, his wife was always head to toe like designer gear.
But the members were not living lavish.
No, the members were working for nothing. Like I heard from someone who did work at the Washington Times when it started that they were ostensibly paid, quote, air quotes. They were paid for their time working, but they would be handing out the checks on a Friday and be like, hey, does anyone want to like money is
Not
tight.
get paid this
Stop.
week.
Yeah, does anyone want to tithe? And like, so you'd have to like
Stop.
tithe in front of your coworkers, so you're all church members. So there are just like a lot of church members who are working for nothing,
Wow.
or either volunteering their time or working for church businesses, you know, making hardly anything.
Which is so common. And I wonder, like, was there any chatter about that disparity and that was that a problem for anyone?
I don't remember hearing about that, because I remember hearing like, well, Reverend Moon is like the biggest king of them all. So he should like, and he's meeting with presidents, he's meeting with kings and queens. He needs to like be at their level.
Oh,
Of course.
That would make
You're
sense
like,
to me.
okay, where do I sign?
Yeah. I would
Take
be
all
like,
my money.
okay.
I will live in poverty.
Yes.
Right.
Wow. So interesting. Okay. So did your parents, did they remain in the church?
They remained, but around when Reverend Moon died in 2012, like in like a couple years leading up to that, his large family kind of exploded into factions. And my parents went with the youngest son, whose name is Hyungjin, or he calls himself Sean in America, Sean Moon.
So the Reverend's youngest son, your parents
Yes.
decided to follow.
But the wife also was a leader, right?
The
Considered
Reverend's
a
wife.
Reverend's wife.
Yeah, he was trying to pass her and give like the power to his sons at first. And she seems to have taken over the like kind of main church branch.
It was photos of her on the wall, and they were talking about the mother when we went.
Yeah, so people probably call her true mother.
Mm.
And so she's, I think, living in Las Vegas or South Korea or both. And she's taken over the main church branch. And my parents are part of a splinter cult now called Sanctuary Church, or also Rod of Iron Ministries. And they got in the news a few years ago because, like, do you guys know this? They got in the news a few years ago because they were all had a bunch of AR-15s and had this big like marriage rededication ceremony, but bring your assault rifle.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, this sounds familiar.
Yeah. If you Google Sanctuary Church.
I'm looking for pictures.
Assault rifle.
Oh
wedding.
my
AR-15.
God.
It's probably a picture of my dad. You're probably looking at a picture of my dad.
It's a bunch of old ladies.
Okay, maybe my mom.
This is wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did they choose him, do you think?
Okay, so when my parents moved to South Korea with me when I was a teenager, my dad started an English-speaking service in Seoul. There were like a few expat church members out there, but there wasn't really a place for them. And then Sean Moon moved to Seoul and he started his own, and then they combined. And so by the time this break happened, my parents and him had been working pretty closely for, I want to say, like almost 10 years, like more than 5. And so it was very natural for them to go with him.
I see.
Splinter groups are endlessly fascinating to me.
Forever
There's so
fascinating.
many
There's so many.
Mormon offshoot. Like,
Yes.
there are so many. How do you decide
There's
which
probably
prophet's the
5
prophet?
just started as we're speaking.
Yeah.
And
There should be a BuzzFeed article that's like, which offshoot are you?
which offshoot would you
Wait,
belong
yes,
in? Which
actually.
kind of sourdough bread are you?
Please pitch that. Okay.
I'm curious if when the Reverend died, if there was any legend around him being immortal, or if this was shocking, or if it changed anything.
So, not a ton.
Okay.
There was this idea that like he had really wanted North and South Korea to unite before he died. And there was like this big church event that happened around then that they were hopefully trying to work for. So it's like, no, it wasn't one of those cults where they were like, he's never going to die.
Okay.
But I think if they weren't lying to themselves, they would have said they had hoped for something more to happen before he died.
Mm-hmm,
That makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have this crack when you go to college.
Yeah.
Was there something specific that led you to like revisit some of those doubts?
So I tried to ignore it because even though I'd been like friendly with outsiders, I didn't have anyone I like really relied on. Anyone, like I was so used to just like faking my life around them. So it was like, oh, if I believe this, I lose my family and my community. And I did not want that. So I ignored it. I got married in the church.
Was it a mass wedding?
Yeah.
Oh.
But my husband and I were supposed to have an arranged marriage, but we already knew each other and we already liked each other. And so then when our parents were like, how about this person? We were like, okay. But we were like secretly making out. And then we went through the blessing and everyone was like, you guys, like this is a sign that the blessing really works.
Reverend really worked a miracle.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, because when we came along, sometimes your parents could also bless you.
I
So we
see.
our parents, they like chose us, but
I see.
yeah.
How many couples were there?
So they said 400 million because they were counting dead people.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how many. I was looking this up the other day because I was like, how many were there? And it was like,
No, there's 400
I was like,
million.
were there even 400? I don't know. And so I think there was like a couple thousand, maybe 1,000.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. This
I
is
want
wild.
a photo. Do you have a photo of it?
I do have some photos. They're like blurry and you can be like, there's Akina. They're like in that row.
Wow.
What did it feel like?
It felt kind of terrible. I've been thinking about it lately because now I'm 40 and, you know, I got blessed when I was 21 and I thought I was an old maid. I thought I was a spinster.
Oh my God.
You guys, there
Yeah.
were girls who were getting blessed that I had babysat. They were
Right.
like 16.
Wait,
Oh
what,
my
girls were
God.
getting married at 16?
Yeah, just a few of them.
Oh, no.
I know. It was one of those things where, like, I've been sitting with it and thinking about it a lot lately. And I'm like, that was like way more traumatic than I remember, which is like, is not all of our childhood.
Yeah.
Like, especially the cult life. But you're like, oh, we were all coerced into that.
Yeah.
Like, even though I loved the person I was getting married to, I was like getting married with all these people. A lot of them I didn't know. And he and I don't think we would have ever chosen to be married at that young age, even though we liked each other a lot. And then all the girls the night before, I was like, we were in a dormitory. And I just remember girls running around and like crying. Like, just they
Oh
were
my God.
like, they didn't know their partner. They were like 20 or 19 and had just gotten off of a van where they were fundraising for a year. And they were told, like, this is the guy.
Ugh.
And some of them were crying. So yeah, and then there were like 16-year-olds or, you know,
Yeah.
19-year-olds. I don't remember anyone like older than us that was like, you know, even in their mid-20s.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really brutal.
Yeah, that's devastating. What if you get someone with bad breath also?
Yeah, there's like so many jerks and like just so many, and like you're wearing like, there's so many ugly dresses too.
Could you pick out your dress?
I actually, we were able to. I've heard now you can't pick out your dress. You just have an ugly dress that True Mother picks out for you.
Terrible.
Oh, okay.
My dress was kind of cute. It was like asymmetrical ruching.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that sounds
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, then I guess it's all
It's
okay.
fine.
Yeah. I feel better
Never
about
mind.
it. Yeah. Wow. I mean, do you still keep in contact with people?
Some, I still keep in contact with some of my good friends. Like the girl who was sitting like to my right when we were getting blessed.
Yeah.
We still talk. So when we were growing up, they called us blessed children because we were from the blessing. And we were told that we were all brothers and sisters. And so we had to really take care of each other. And so that kind of made it almost easier to leave because I remember some of my friends telling me like, I have a secret boyfriend or I might be gay or something. And I remember thinking like, it was drilled into me that this was my brother or sister. Like that bond is going to remain.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I thought I was a true believer, if people came and told me things like, I made out with a guy, I don't know what to do, I would absolutely hold their secrets and like not tell anyone. And so I feel like, you know, I'm not friends with everyone from the church or, you know, like I feel like I have a lot of good feelings towards everyone. Like I know what a terrible childhood we all had and I wish everyone the best, even if I'm not in contact with them. But I feel like I still love everyone.
Wow. It sounds somewhat unique in that so much of the time we hear about a culture within a cult of ratting on everyone, like it being required to rat on everyone.
There was definitely a lot of trauma that we all had to do. I think for me, even like if we were acting kind of shitty to each other when we were teens, or some girl like ratted me out for like having not dress code at camp. I was still a little bit annoyed with her.
Still a little resentment there.
But I'm like, we were all teens. Like, what else were we gonna do?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I feel like I absolutely have forgiveness in my heart for any other blessed child. And I'm sure I offended or hurt other people. And I would definitely be happy to ask for forgiveness. I feel like I have a harder time forgiving a lot of the first generation who raised us in this.
Right.
I'm like, I know you were damaged and that's why you joined. But honestly, like, what the hell, guys?
Yeah.
Right. One of the other things that you said that really interested me was how demonized therapy was.
Oh, yeah.
And how that's just a warning that you're probably in a high control group. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So it wasn't just therapy. It was like kind of like all medical professionals were
Oh.
a little bit treated suspiciously, especially therapists, because I think because they were so scared of the church in turn. But I did go get regular checkups when I was a kid. I think a lot of that was also like I was going to public school and I needed to get like vaccines.
Immunizations. Right.
I did have a health issues that like kind of got ignored for a while. A lot of people didn't even go to regular doctors. It was like, don't even go if you have cancer. And there's actually like it feels like a very huge crossover between that and like the RFK.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, because there's like people being like, you can pray your cancer away or just drink this special tea or whatever, there's a lot of that too.
So it wasn't necessarily specifically don't talk about your emotions with a person because it might expose us. It was more just like the
Oh, no, I think that was still there.
It
was just everything.
I have so many more questions about this. I think this would be a good time to break and pick this back up in the next episode.
She's so cool.
I know. Also, I want her to be a voice actor.
I just want her to be my friend.
Well, that too.
I asked her when you went to the bathroom. She seemed hesitant.
Come out a little strong. Okay, Meagan, would you join the Unification Church?
Okay, so if it's the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I might.
Go on.
I like flowers, freedom.
Okay.
There was a lot of like, we're not working for the man. Like, we're going to live on a commune and be in the sun and make our own garden. I'd like that.
Make our own garden?
Yeah, I just feel like there's a garden there.
You just decided there was a garden involved somewhere?
I just would like it. I just think I would like it. It sounds like it started with things that I would like. I wouldn't like him probably, the Reverend.
Yeah.
But I can just see myself being swept away and maybe some of the excitement of selling trinkets on the street and getting hitchhikes and free meals. And I would join it. I just know I would.
Yeah, I could see that for you, for sure.
I know.
It's so, I'll never stop being fascinated by the sort of like hippie Christian cult
hybrid
combination. Yes.
Endlessly fascinating.
Hippie, just like my idea of what it meant to be a hippie growing up just seemed so like the antithesis of being in like a strict Christian church. But like so much of that movement turned into these like Christian cults.
Yeah, and that's why you see them having so many weird different kinds of rules, because they were like, well, then we can do this actually, and we can do this actually.
Yeah,
it's just like
just
such
picking
a
and choosing from
mismatch. Yeah, it's very interesting.
She referenced in this interview like creating a BuzzFeed quiz. I think it would be a fun BuzzFeed quiz to pick which belief systems you want to pull from and like create your own cult.
We actually have to do that.
Does BuzzFeed still exist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shout out.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please rate us 5 stars. If you don't have 5 stars, don't rate us at all. Share it with your friends. And as always, remember to follow your gut, watch out for red flags, and never, ever trust me.
Bye. This has been an Exactly Right production, hosted by me, Lola Blanc.
And me, Meagan Elizabeth. Our senior producer is Jiha Lee.
This episode was mixed by John Bradley.
Our associate producer is Christina Chamberlain, and our guest booker is Patrick Kottner.
Our theme song was composed by Holly Amber Church.
Trust Me is executive produced by Karen Kilgareth, Georgia Hardstark, and Danielle Kramer.
You can find us on Instagram at Trust Me Podcast or on TikTok at Trust Me Cult Podcast.
Got your own story about cults, extreme belief, or manipulation? Shoot us an email at trustmepod@gmail.com.
Listen to Trust Me on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everybody, here's the thing about other home security systems. They're all designed for after the window breaks, after someone's inside, after you get the notification, after the police come. SimpliSafe is the first system designed for before, stopping a break-in before it even begins.
That's right. Unlike traditional security systems that only alert you after a break-in is already underway, SimpliSafe is designed to help prevent the crime before it starts. Their cameras can detect suspicious activity at the perimeter and alert live US-based agents. Then SimpliSafe's agents assess the threat, intervene, speak through the camera to scare off the intruders, and call for 911 dispatch.
That's right, and SimpliSafe has been protecting your world for 20 years, everybody. So celebrate their anniversary and save 60% on your new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/stuff. That's 60% off, you guys, at simplisafe.com/stuff. Plus, when you order, write in our show name and the How Did You Hear About Us survey to let them know that we sent you. Don't forget, there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
In the summer, healthy habits are easy to keep until you leave the house.
You walk out the door, and the next thing you know, you're barefoot and feral in a gas station candy aisle.
That's why Kachava makes it easy to maintain your routines.
Kachava is an all-in-one nutrition shake, and now it comes in new travel packs.
Every packet gives you a simple shake with protein, fiber, vitamins and minerals, greens, probiotics, omegas, electrolytes, and more.
They're easy to toss into a bag, easy to take on the road, and a simple way to stick with your normal wellness habits, even when your schedule changes.
Man, that Kachava matcha in the individual packs is like my dream snack. It's exactly what I need and want in between the not great meals I'm eating for lunch and the snacks I would have had anyways that are terrible for me. This is something I feel like I'm treating myself when I take.
You're treating yourself to vitamins, fiber, all these things that your body really wants and needs and kind of craves that it does seem like it takes a big effort to get. So now you're getting it all in one packet and in a little drink you like.
Take your daily ritual with you.
Go to Kachava.com and use code MFM for 15% off your first order.
That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com, code MFM.
Goodbye. Calling all amateur detectives and podcast obsessives.
Virgin Voyage's second true crime voyage sets sail March 20th, 2027 for a 5-night escape to Grand Turk and the Beach Club at Bimini.
As part of the On Air at Sea collection, this immersive sailing brings together fan favorite podcasts, including Disgraceland, Buried Bones, and Wisecrack, for live recordings, behind-the-scenes access, exclusive meet and greets, and crime-themed programming that you won't find anywhere else.
All aboard our award-winning, kid-free ships.
Head over to virginvoyages.com/truecrime to secure your spot.
Goodbye.